Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. The Young and the Restless, Alan agrees to move in with Tracy. Billy meets with Lily, and Phyllis hits bottom. All products and services featured are independently chosen by editors. However, soaps.com may receive a commission on orders placed through its retail links, and the retailer may receive certain auditable data for accounting purposes. At the club, Billy reads Jill's text asking him to call her in the morning and warning that his time is running out to fix things at Chancellor. Taking a seat at the bar, he pushes buttons on his phone. At Crimson Lights, Lily answers her phone and asks, "What do you want, Billy?" He wants to talk. She asks if he's still running Chancellor. He says he is. She informs him they have nothing to talk about then. Billy pleads with her to meet him for one drink. "I promised you won't be sorry." Nate lets Amy into his apartment. She's anxious to hear if he's made up his mind. Will he help her find his son? Your brother? Nate still hasn't decided and wants to hear more about his half-brother first. Amy will take that as a positive sign. Nate asks what he's like and how he could abandon his mother like this, having to turn to a stranger. Amy feels like she knows Nate since he's so much like his father. She knows he's a good man, just as Damien is deep down. He's a complex man. Nate wants to hear more. Amy says Damien was a quiet boy, very studious, and his father was his best friend. Jackson died when he was 16, and it was a terrible blow. Nate can imagine. He lost his father at a young age, but it still left a scar. Nate had strong men in his life to step in and fill the void. Amy says that wasn't the case for Damien. He suddenly lost interest in school and in being a doctor. Nothing seemed to matter to him anymore. They became more and more distant, as though he blamed her somehow for his father's death. After a particularly bad argument, he took off and she hasn't seen him in several years. He sometimes came around for money, but she had to tell him she couldn't support him. She told him he had to get himself together and find purpose. He was furious with her, and she hasn't heard from him since. Nate's sorry. That is a hell of a thing to live with. Amy asks if he can see why she's so desperate to make peace with him. Nate can, but doesn't think he's the right person to find him. Tracy walks into Crimson Lights, where Alan greets her for a hug. He's got them a table on the patio and ordered for them. Sitting, Tracy asks him why he doesn't just move in with her already. Unless you're having second thoughts. She points out they're together all the time. Alan concedes he's paying a lot for a suite he hardly uses. He admits he's worried about how her family will feel about him moving in. He's also concerned that Ashley will be triggered about all the things his brother did to her. Tracy says her sister is looking forward to seeing him. She is happy for them, and so is the rest of her family. They love me, and they're happy that I'm so happy. They know it's because of you. He chuckles as she reminds him it's her house too. Emotional, Tracy says she's waited a long time to be this happy and doesn't want to miss another second. It feels like a natural progression for them. Alan says, "In that case, I guess I need a key." They kiss. In Summer's suite, she tells Phyllis she can't believe they're burying Heather tomorrow. Phyllis is glad they talked him into doing something small. They discuss Lucy and Danny not being there. Phyllis assures they'll do something else at a later date when they can attend. Summer hopes that by then, the real killer will be locked up. Phyllis tells Summer that the service will be the greatest place to set the trap for Sharon. She's sure Sharon will finally admit what she did, and then Daniel can start the grieving process. Summer isn't convinced that Sharon is guilty. Phyllis says, "You wait until tomorrow. You'll see." Summer asks what makes her think she'll show up. Phyllis is sure she'll come to show everyone she's the real victim. She'll be there, and I'll be waiting, to give her a real reason to suffer. Lily meets Billy at the club bar and asks, "What's so urgent?" He's ordered her favorite wine as a peace offering. This makes her more suspicious of his motives. Billy tells her he needs her back. The company needs you back. Everyone misses you. He hates how things have gone between them, and he wants to clear the air. Lily chuckles. She knows the only reason he's sucking up to her is because Jill forced him to. Billy admits there's been some pressure, which made him see that he's been a jerk. "I'm asking you to come back to Abbott Chancellor. On your terms, of course." At Nate's place, Amy asks him to give it a little more thought. Nate just doesn't think he's the right person to find her son. She disagrees. Nate thinks she needs a professional. Once Damien's found, he'll consider getting to know him. Doing it now and springing it on him that he's his brother seems rash. Amy protests that she's running out of time. Nate understands, but they can't just drop this major revelation on him out of the blue. It can do a lot of damage. What happens when he finds out the man he grew up idolizing was not his biological father? If his whole world took a turn for the worst when he died, how will he handle finding out that man wasn't even his father to begin with? Amy sits down heavily. She tried to tell him the truth but couldn't break their hearts. Nate nods. Quite a dilemma. Amy laments being at the end of her life with little time to make it right. All she knows is that the only way he'll make a family connection after she's gone is to tell him the truth. It's way past time. Nate says she doesn't need him to find her son. Amy doesn't have the financial resources to hire a detective. She thought that if he knew he had a brother, he'd be compelled to take the search on himself. So, what do you think? Nate asks, is that it? Is that what this whole thing has been about? Family? Or is this all one big scam? In Summer's suite, she tells Phyllis to stop for a minute and consider her history with Sharon. It's going to backfire. Phyllis says their history is why this will work. She knows how she'll react when her back is up against the wall. Summer argues that Heather's service isn't the place to try and prove her theory. Phyllis thinks it's exactly the place. Summer regretted trying to do the same thing with Diane. They also can't interfere with Christine's defense. Phyllis coughs. She doesn't have a case. Summer argues she's good at her job. Phyllis doesn't trust her. Summer yells, "Mom? No, I'm not going to let you mess this up and make things even worse." Phyllis asks, is it not possible she can expose the real killer? Summer admits it's possible. Phyllis is glad to hear her admit it, and that she doesn't think she can do it. At the club bar, Lily learns Phyllis is no longer with Abbott Chancellor. She tells him it doesn't matter. There is no way she'll ever work with him again. Billy says she has a right to be upset, but so does he. She admitted to plotting against him. He admits his mother gave him an ultimatum, but he's not asking her back to please Jill. He made a mistake when he fired her even though she stabbed him in the back. He let his ego get in the way. Now he's asking her to remember how great they were together. Lily asks how they're going to trust each other. Billy says they'll put the company first. Phyllis appears with her jaw on the floor as Billy finishes his pitch, telling Lily this is the best shot they have at saving the company. Phyllis interrupts and asks to speak to Billy privately. Lily thought they weren't colleagues anymore. Billy tells Phyllis he's having a conversation with Lily, but Lily says she's heard enough and walks off. Billy complains about Phyllis interrupting his meeting. Phyllis heard him asking Lily to come back after she stabbed him in the back. She had his back. She's starting to think people are right and he doesn't know what he's doing. Billy reminds her she needs to focus on Daniel. Phyllis can focus on many things. Billy tells her to look after her family. He has to protect Abbott Chancellor. At Nate's place, he admits he has to wonder if Amy's trying to play him. He questions if there's even a long-lost son. Amy can understand why he'd be suspicious. That's why I brought proof. She pulls out Damien's birth certificate and some old photos. Proof this isn't a scheme to take his money. She also has a lock of Damien's hair, so he can have the DNA tested. Proof positive that you're related. Nate asks if she's sure she wants to give him these. Amy tells him gaining his trust is her only chance to see her son again. Nate's starting to see the logic in how she's handled this. She asks if he believes her. On the coffee house patio, Tracy tells Alan there's a room right next to hers, with room for all of his things. Billy comes in and greets his sister. Alan shakes his hand, and Billy sits down. Tracy tells him they have exciting news. Alan's going to be moving into the house. Billy thinks that's great. If his sister is happy, he's happy. He asks about Ash. Tracy says Jack's with her in Paris. Alan says the doctors think she's turned a corner. Billy says at least he can look forward to seeing her at the wedding. Tracy asks why she gets the feeling he's not excited about the nuptials. Billy isn't a card-carrying member of Devin's fan club. He convinced Lily to make moves against Abbott Chancellor. Tracy's surprised by all of this. Billy tells Alan about his reputation as a screw-up. Tracy suggests, don't fail. Billy replies that he can't fail. He tells Tracy that he's taking hits from all sides. Tracy urges him to prove to those people they're wrong about him. He's trying. Tracy's so sorry. She had no idea he was battling all of this. She wants to be there for him. Billy refuses to lose. I'm going to battle every enemy that comes my way, even if that includes my mother. I'm done. I can't do it anymore. The gloves are coming off. At Nate's place, he tells Amy He'll look over the things she brought him tonight and make a decision. Amy tells him how being back in Genoa City reminds her of his father. She thinks she's going to get in touch with some long-forgotten friends. Nate sees her to the door, where she tells him Damien is not a bad person. He's just lost. At the club bar, Phyllis orders another drink and chats to the bartender about being alone. She says she's been to hell and back. I am tough, but even the toughest of women hit their breaking point, and tonight I have hit mine. She rants that she's being screwed over when she needs real stability in her life right now. She confides that she's on a mission right now, the biggest mission of her life. It's life-altering, and I don't care what anybody thinks of me right now. I don't care. I'm not giving up. She doesn't care what anyone thinks right now. When it comes to saving her son's life, she will not lose this fight. I'm proving everyone wrong. I have a plan. Next on The Young and the Restless. Daniel wants justice for Heather. Phyllis backs Sharon into a corner, and Christine keeps a secret.